So today we got some Super Smash Bros Ultimate Datamine info to talk about. Alongside Terry being announced as our next DLC fighter and Banjo being released, we also got a new mode. That mode was Home Run Contest. Now, Home Run Contest had been datamined a while back, so we've basically just been waiting for this one to show up, and it finally did in version 5.0.0. And Sakurai had something fairly interesting to say about this new mode. Sakurai said it was pretty much the final new mode, which is a kind of odd thing to say. If Home Run Contest was actually the final new mode, you'd think he'd just state that, but to say pretty much the final new mode almost implies that another mode is coming. It was a cryptic and kind of odd thing for Sakurai to say, but now we have a new datamine that might shed some light on exactly why Sakurai said it that way. I first became aware of this new datamine when over on Twitter, @BlakeBeats wrote me this: "Have you seen this? Is this new information that might be useful?" And then posted a link to a Reddit post. The Reddit post is about a new mode that's been datamined, so let's check it out. Over on Reddit, EpicMartin7 wrote this: "Update on new datamine mode. Around 4 days ago, Reddit user Pintanito said they discovered an unused mode within the game's files called Convention. It's interesting because no mention of this mode existed in the base game up to 3.0.0, at least in the UI files. However, I recently downloaded 4.0.0 onto my desktop and took a peek, and I can confirm that there is indeed a reference to Convention in 4.0.0. Interestingly, I can't seem to find the UI files that were posted in the previous thread, so my guess is those files were added in 5.0.0. So that's pretty interesting. If Home Run Contest was the final mode, why would more data be added to 5.0.0 for a mode we haven't seen? In either case, at least we know for sure that the file entries do exist. The question is, what can they tell us about the mode? Well, based off the file name of the one I looked at, Online Melee Preview Select Convention.bflan, we do know that it is primarily going to be an online mode. Online is written right into all the entries, so it's probably a surefire bet. What is very intriguing, however, is the Melee entry, and no, it does not stand for Smash Bros Melee. That'd be cool though. Melee has always been a name to denote the multiplayer part of Smash Bros. Internally. As an example, all the multiplayer stages exist in a directory called Melee. So what we can infer from this is this being a new online multiplayer mode of sorts. To add more fuel to the fire, Smash Ultimate did have some obvious spots open that were eventually filled with new modes, such as Tourney Mode and even Home Run Contest. Well, it did look weird after 3.0.0 and before Home Run Contest. Games & More had a row with 3 modes and another with 2, lol. In the Smash Online menu, you can clearly tell there's a spot for at least one more new mode. And if we look at an image of Smash Online's menu right now, yeah, it does look a little bare. There is definitely a spot for another mode. So yeah, it does definitely seem like the dev team is up to something. All this is weird considering Sakurai said Home Run Contest was their last game mode. Actually, he very specifically said it was pretty much the last game mode, which again was an odd thing to say if Home Run Contest was indeed planned to be the last game mode. So who knows? To me at least, the fact that this is being added incrementally in updates makes it seem to me they have intentions on this being used. But who knows? Game development is weird, and maybe this was just multiple slip-ups of adding in accidentally scrapped content. We won't truly know for sure until an announcement is made. What I will say though, if I had to speculate on the rest of the mode, and I should stress, this part is speculation and not concrete, I'm thinking it might be the concept of Slipspace returning. For those who don't know, Slipspace is a scrapped mode from Super Smash Bros Brawl. It was supposedly an online beat-em-up mode where you try to knock out as many opponents as possible. So this would be like multi-man Smash, but with all real people. And yeah, you can look up Slipspace. It was in fact a cut mode from Super Smash Bros Brawl that is speculated to have been an online beat-em-up mode that never got implemented. Here's some information on Slipspace. I think that mainly because of the UI images from the previous thread, it shows Incineroar, Pit, and Fox looking at the Smash logo, almost as if they're waiting for something, which would be perfect representation of a waiting for more players. And here is that image. It's a picture of Incineroar, Fox, and Pit looking at the Smash logo, and yeah, it does look like they're waiting for more players, and it looks like maybe 3 people are on a team. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Ignoring all the speculation, we basically know that it'll most likely be a new online Smash mode if it happens, so we'll definitely see what happens. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. We have a data mine for a potential new mode codenamed Convention, so maybe it'd be called Convention Mode, maybe that's just the codename for it, that could be coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Well, there's something even more interesting about this that people have been speculating. Over on my Discord, Frankie wrote this: adding Convention with Terry makes a lot of sense, since that's basically what the King of Fighters tournament is. Single elimination, 3v3 battles, and Convention has this image associated with it. And there's that image of Incineroar, Fox, and Pit, which looks like they're all on a team together waiting for opponents. 3v3 would make a lot of sense, again, with Terry because of the way King of Fighters works. Frankie went on to write this: basically squad strike with your bros, and left this image about King of Fighters. It says, King of Fighters was originally a singles tournament, but when Rugal Bernstein first hosted it, he instituted the famous 3-on-3 rule. Teams of 3 fighters would compete against each other, with 1 fighter from each team fighting at a time. Well, we know our next fighter is Terry from Fatal Fury King of Fighters, so adding a 3v3 online mode would make a ton of sense alongside with them, and would probably explain why Sakurai was being cryptic about Home Run Contest being pretty much the final mode. The next mode actually has a lot to do with Terry himself. I was even speculating before Terry was shown that potentially his moveset could be some sort of 3-in-1 type character, something like Pokemon Trader, to represent this 3v3 tournament style King of Fighters has. But it looks like instead we might be getting a new mode that represents that. Interesting stuff. I expect we'll probably hear more about Convention mode closer to Terry's release. So speaking of Terry, a lot of people have been speculating about his reveal trailer's beginning, where it showed a timeline of different gaming consoles. The really interesting thing there was that before it landed on Neo Geo, it actually overshot things a bit, landing in between the Game & Watch and the NES. So some people have been speculating our next DLC fighter might be coming from that era. However, someone else pointed out a better explanation in my opinion. Joshi wrote me this: at PapaGenos, the reason they went to the Game & Watch in Terry reveal trailer is because around 1980, when the Game & Watch was released, SNK got their name. And then they posted an image about when SNK first got that company name, and yeah, it was around that time period. So it makes sense for them to overshoot going right back to the beginning of SNK's history before landing on the Neo Geo to reveal Terry. That makes sense to me. Of course, I will admit that overshooting on that timeline may have simply been a aesthetic choice, just something that kind of looked cool, and has nothing to do with referencing something or hinting at anything, so that's a possibility here too. And last up over on Twitter, at Ruffy Yoshi wrote me this: sorry for spamming y'all with this, but I wanted to quickly check how the other screens looked if I were to move the slots around and not resize them at all. And what do you know? 10 slots again, just like with the Datamine dummy slots in World of Light. So yeah, just kind of interesting, we once again end up with 10 more spots after the Fighter's Pass on a few different screens in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I was wildly speculating about 10 more spots being a possibility before Sakurai even announced more DLC. I personally think Sakurai will probably just give us as many or as few more fighters as he feels fit, and any kind of fitting it onto a character select screen probably doesn't mean anything. They've resized the character icons before, they could just do that again, or it's possible that it won't fill up completely. Smash has historically not had the cleanest character select screens, so I don't know if this really means anything, but it is interesting the number 10 keeps coming up. Alright, well that's everything I got for you guys in this video. I do suspect that Convention mode will probably show up alongside Terry. Even though Sakurai said Home Run Contest was pretty much the final mode, I think he was just being really coy about this Convention mode showing up a little later and fitting with Terry himself, or Terry's game. What do you guys think about all this? If you have any comments, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.